Hello there, everyone. Just about to start, just waiting for a few stragglers to join on. Thank you for joining me on today's 30-minute webinar on how to get control of your spending, day-to-day spending. Should have fun. We had a good crowd this morning, so let's see if you're up for this and if you're in the same zone as them. I promise it won't be boring and it will go very quickly, and hopefully we're going to give you some really good ideas. Good. Okay, let's get into the meat of the presentation then. All right, so thanks for joining me. I'm Jason Butler. I'm the head of financial education here at Salary Finance. If you didn't know, Salary Finance is a benefit made available to you by your employer, which includes access to financial education and various other financial products. And our whole focus is to get people out of debt into saving so they worry less about money and they enjoy life more. And we really want everyone to be just financially healthier and happier. What's not to like about that? Now, just a couple of bits of housekeeping. I should just point out that this session is not personal financial advice. And if you're in any doubt about your own situation, either contact your local Citizens Advice Bureau or a regulated financial advisor. And indeed, your own employer may have an employee assistance plan or a financial advice service provided as part of your package. But because we cover lots of employers, I can't be specific about that in today's webinar. Couple of housekeeping points, by the way. If you've got questions you want me to try and answer, just generic questions about money, issues, concerns, please put them in the questions box and I'll try and get to as many as I can. We had a lot this morning, so please get them in. If you get yours in first, I'll answer the first in, first out, as it were. So we'll have time at the end to try and cover as many as we can. There are no silly questions, by the way. If you've got that question, tap into my 31 years of experience and knowledge, and I'll try and do what I can to help. Okay, now, learning to control your day-to-day spending is the essential foundation upon which your financial well-being is built. It doesn't matter how much you earn, because if you can't control your spending, then you're going to find it much harder to get on top of your money, and it's the foundation. And we all know that living paycheck to paycheck is no fun at all. And I know from personal experience. Now, getting control over your day-to-day spending is vital if you want to avoid racking up debt and the stress that goes with that. You want to be able to handle life's money curveballs, as I call them, and turn a drama into a mere inconvenience. And that you want to be able to afford those little luxuries that make life interesting without feeling guilty. And also you want to be able to pay off debt, build wealth, and have more choice and more fun. So let's kick off and see if you're all awake. Let's have a little poll. I want to see what your thoughts are about your day-to-day spending. So let's just kick the first one off. I want to know how you would describe how you manage your day-to-day spending. Do you have a detailed budget and follow it closely? Do you have a detailed budget and follow it loosely? Do you have a rough budget and follow it loosely, or no budget and no idea where your money goes? Now, be honest, no one knows. It's just about honesty. It's just you and me. Let's just get this done. Okay, we're almost there. I'm going to close the poll in 3, 2, 1. Right, let's share that. Okay, so 24% have got a detailed budget and follow it loosely. 47% have got a rough budget and follow it loosely, and 19% of you have got no budget and no idea. Well, at least you're honest, okay? And I've been all of those things. And 10% if you've got a detailed budget and follow it really, really closely. Well done. Here's the thing. You're not on your own when it comes to not being 100% with controlling your day-to-day spending, and hopefully you've joined for that reason. So our research at Salary Finance shows that most people know that they should have some form of spending budget, right? But they also find it very, very hard to stick to it. And this is the results of our recent different groups of people. So whilst we might know we need to do something, we find it difficult. So if you answer 2, 3, or 4, then you can see you're not on your own and you're entirely normal. Now, budgeting and controlling day-to-day spending doesn't come naturally to most people because we make money decisions on emotional, not a logical level. And we've got all these messages and we've got all these temptations and we're not taught about it at school, and we get tired and we get grouchy and we have feelings and so therefore it's no wonder that most people find it difficult. But here's the point. Controlling your spending is a skill that can be learned over time. Let me say that again. Budgeting is a skill that can be learned over time. So here's the thing. I know about this because I was a train wreck in my 20s. Now, let me just tell you now, I wasn't just a train wreck. I had £30,000 in non-mortgage debt. My bank account was an ugly mess, and I had people chasing me for money all the time. And all of that was happening despite me earning an above average income. Now, I turned my life around, and today I'm what we call financially independent. I work because I want to. I'm 51 years of age, not because I have to. I have no debt. I don't even own a credit card. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that wherever you are in your financial journey, you can make a change for the better, because you cannot be as bad as I was in my 20s. Absolutely not. So money is now my servant, not my master. And I know it can be for you as well if you follow some very simple principles. Okay, but the first thing we've got to do is banish the word budget. Okay, now budget is a word in my mind that sounds restrictive, painful, hard work, and quite frankly, boring. And I don't do boring. What we've got to look to is change the terminology and change how we think about this. We need a spending plan. Okay, so we need a spending plan and we need to learn how to manage it and stick to it. But here's the thing. It's a framework. It's flexible. It's not a straitjacket, and you can flex this. And your plan will go off course, and it will adapt, and it will flex, and that's okay. So this is a skill that will take time and effort to get to grips with. But like anything worth trying and getting good at, it will be worth it. Okay, so if you are sick and tired of living paycheck to paycheck, or you're sick and tired of not having savings, or you're sick and tired of not being able to buy nice things without feeling guilty or embarrassed or having rows with your significant other, this is for you. Okay, financial freedom doesn't come from having loads of money and loads of income and loads of assets. It comes from deciding where you want your money to go and feeling in control. So first of all, let's look at why most budgets don't work. Now, most budgets don't work because people don't know where the money is currently going. They've got an idea of where they think it's going, and where it actually is going. Normally, two different things. So that's the ignorance factor. I'm sorry to be hard about this, but we've got to be honest. Then we have people who are far too optimistic and ambitious, or have unrealistic or unsustainable ideas of what they can achieve in the short term. Steve Jobs said, there's a limit to what you can achieve in the short term, but no limit to what you can achieve in the long run. So it's delusional. People are sort of giving themselves a false idea of what they can do. And then there is not having a system to make it easy. It's systems that make life easy. So that's what I call the hopeless aspect. Without a system, it's not going to work. You don't think all these best athletes get ahead by not having a system. Yes, they put the work in, but they have a system. And basically, not giving this enough time and attention. If you are spending more time watching Netflix or Amazon or whatever it is your entertainment, or Instagram, okay, you've got to rethink about your priorities. If you're happy with your life, that's fine. But if you're not happy with your financial life, then you're going to need to put enough time and effort in. Not tremendous amounts, but you're going to have to put some in. And it's what I call that being ridiculous, expecting change to happen when you're not prepared to give it time and effort. Okay, and although I can make this easier, I can't make it easy without you putting some effort in. So let's take this step by step. This is my step-by-step plan. First of all, you need to embrace all of your expenses. That means everything, okay? Now, here's what happens is you might think your spending's like this. Now, of course, what you spend your money on and what you the actual amounts will vary according to your situation. But let's just say you think you're spending £2,000 a month on all these different things, and this may well have changed since COVID. But what you actually spend is actually not 2,000. It's, say in this situation, could be 2,600, because when you add in all those inevitable expenses, but that are not strictly monthly, but they're going to happen, you just don't quite know when and exactly how much they're going to be. Holiday, pets, clothes. My dogs, when I took them recently to the pet for some injections, the Labrador, we got a black lab, and it needed to have its nails cut. That was 15 quid. I mean, it's got to come from somewhere. So look, these things happen, right? Car service. I had my car service the other day. I thought it was going to be £400. Turns out it's £1,600. Now, that's a curveball. But even if it was the basic service of £400 or £500, we know it's going to happen, don't we? So why don't we put 40, 50, 60 pounds a month aside for that? Same with your house maintenance, home repairs. This stuff happens. If you aren't renting and you own a house or you're buying it with a mortgage, you are going to have home repairs. And I see it so many times. People underestimate how much it costs to keep a home going. I've lived in the same house for 23 years. It's 220 years old. I've spent the first 3 years doing it all up, but I've spent the last 19 years keeping it going. And they need love and they need attention. And there's always something going wrong or something that needs painting. So make allowance for it. These are inevitable things that are going to happen. Okay? So this is the single biggest problem that people have. Their reality is not the same as what they think it is. Okay? So if you've got something like a holiday that's going to cost you £2,000 or £3,000, I mean, remember when we used to be able to go on holiday, put an allowance in each month for that 2 or 3. If it's 2,500, 200 quid a month or so. So finding out how much is going out the door is a mixture of looking at the past, look at your bank statements, but also making reasonable estimates about the future and what matters to you. And we'll come on to that in a minute. It's a very important point. Now, look, you can use an app. You can use a spreadsheet to analyze your spending. If that suits you, that's fine. But you can also use, there's an online budget planner tool from the Money Advice Service, Money and Pension Service, I think it's called now. There's the website there. They've got an online budget planner if that suits you. Or you can go old school. We have a downloadable paper PDF simple budget summary, which helps you work out your weekly, your monthly, yearly. And here's the thing, the research shows that if you use a paper-based budgeter, even if you use an app or a spreadsheet or any of those other things, it actually connects you with the actual numbers. So the research shows that's the most effective way of doing it. But look, whatever method you use, find out the truth, both in terms of what's happened in the past and your best guesstimate going forward. Not what you think should happen, but what is happening. Now, this is the second stage. Now, this is the concept of giving every pound a job to do before you get paid. So what this means is you have to decide where your money is going before you receive it, okay? And you've got to make sure that the money coming in matches the money going out before you get paid. If it doesn't match, if it doesn't balance, you've got to find a way of reducing the spending, increasing your income, or a combination of the two. Now, as someone I was speaking to recently, they had a car on finance, £330 a month, sell the car, pay the finance off, buy yourself a banger for £1,000 or £2,000, it balanced. They didn't like the idea of it because they'd have to drive around in their banger, and what would people think of them? Well, do you know what? People might think nothing of you because they're not interested in you. They're interested in themselves. But what you will do is free up cash, and you'll make your budget balance. But you might not need to do that. You might need to do other things. So you tell everything where you want it to go in advance. So it doesn't matter whether it's loan repayments, socializing, food, clothes, pension contributions, decide where it's going so you don't look back and wonder where it all went. So here's the thing. Look to optimize the spending that you have to make. Okay, so look for quick wins. These are just some ideas. Are there subscriptions that you don't want, need, or use? Including on your mobile phone. Go to the settings, go to subscriptions, and go in there and cancel everything, right? Another way of doing it is close your credit card up, pay the balance, and once you close your credit card account, it's funny how all these companies suddenly came, oh, your payment system doesn't work. I closed my credit card recently, got rid of it. I mean, I haven't had much of a balance on it. I always paid it off. But when I closed the account, suddenly all these small little things, £10 a month, £12 a month, £20 a month, suddenly came out of nowhere and said, oh, your payment system isn't working. And I said, well, actually, I don't really want that anymore. Can you lower your core costs by changing energy, insurance, mortgage, or mobile phone bills? And here's the thing. Having mobile phones where they give you the handset for free for a monthly amount is debt. Okay, you don't need it. You can buy a cheap phone and have it on a SIM-only contract. Can you replace expensive debt with a lower cost alternative? Most people haven't got a clue what their debt is costing them. But if you pay a lower amount of interest, not only could you either lower the monthly amount, but you could also get rid of the debt quicker by turning that lower interest into more of your monthly money going to pay it off. And as I said before, could you run a cheaper car and repay any borrowing with it? You know, it's time to have what you can afford, not what you think you deserve, if you want to get ahead with your money. And can you do extra work, even if it's delivering pizzas in your spare time or teaching someone something of a skill that you've got? Can you curb unnecessary expenses and spending that's come like a habit, like coffees you buy each day? Yes, have one, but don't have three. Contactless payments is terrible because you don't feel the pain of spending. Have you got an Amazon one-click habit? Should you disable one-click buying? Should you change that and take your payment card off it? Do whatever you can to make it harder for you to spend. And are you getting all the state benefits to which you're entitled to? And there is a website called Entitled To. So you could go to that or turn to us. They're two good websites, and they will tell you if you're entitled to anything. Now, step 3 is be realistic, patient, and pragmatic. So we can often be our own worst enemy, and that voice in our head often makes us doubt our ability. And the way to think about the voice, though, is that it's just thoughts and feelings. And they're a bit like thoughts and feelings, a bit like the weather. And you just need to let them flow in and out. They're not you, but don't pay too much close attention to them. And also, you can make small changes and be realistic about what you sustain. So it's much better to make very small changes that don't feel like a change, but you're moving in the right direction, rather than say, it's a bit like running, right? If you've not done any exercise, you're not going to go and run 5K. You're not even going to run. You might just walk for 20 minutes or 10 minutes, at a brisk fashion. And then the next day you might walk a bit longer. So here's the thing, small, tiny steps that you don't even feel like they're an effort. So for example, you might say, okay, well, I want to get control of my spending, but the first thing is just to download your bank statements or print them off. Don't do anything with them. You could do that, couldn't you? You could do that. Don't worry about what you're going to do with it. Then when you've done that, you can say, okay, I'm just going to look at the core expenses. Okay, I'm not going to look at anything else. Just look at my standing orders, and I can do that. So it's a bit like that when you're going to go for a run. I'm just going to put my shoes on. Oh, I'm just going to go and I go to the door. Oh, I'm just going to go for a run. Just make it small, and it doesn't seem that hard. And here's the thing, you're not going to nail controlling your spending immediately, as I know I didn't. And that you are going to make mistakes, and that doesn't make you a bad person, and it doesn't mean you won't eventually get to grips with it. You will, but this is not going to be in a straight line. This is where I think people go wrong. They think that learning a new skill, I should just be able to do this. Just because there's someone who's a spreadsheet geek who you can't get any money out of their wallet and they don't spend any money, they're not you. Don't worry about them. They've had a different start to life, different experiences, they've got different personality, but you can be you, and you are going to nail this. So like learning any new skill, this is going to take time, effort, practice, and you're going to have setbacks. If you make mistakes, you're not a failure or a bad person with money. Don't confuse who you are with not being able to do something, right? So don't say, oh, I'm bad with money. You're not. You just haven't learned how to manage it properly, okay? So you're going to be learning to be better at managing it. And making mistakes and suffering setbacks is all part and parcel of learning any new skill. You're learning the skill of telling your money where you want it to go rather than wondering where it went. Now, this is the concept. This is the difference between having a fixed mindset. These people think that, if anything happens, it's all about them. They're terrible. Whereas growth mindset people believe that when they have mistakes and setbacks, they're learning. They're going beyond their comfort zone. It's all part and parcel. They don't see it as a failure of them as a person. They're just learning how not to do something. So let's have a poll. This is the next poll. I'm going to launch this now. And I want to see whether you think that reframing how you interpret mistakes, setbacks, and failures with your money is possibly going to help you get better at managing your spending. So vote away. Let's have a look. So it's definitely, I think so, possibly, probably not. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to share that with you. So there we go, 36%, over a third of you definitely think that reframing failures and setbacks. Let's have a look. 31% think so, 27%. So basically, all of you believe, if you think differently about how you look at setbacks and failures. So look, that's one big insight for you, right? Just take that away, share it with everyone you know. Just because you have mistakes doesn't mean you're a failure. Good, well done. Let's hide that so you can see the rest of the slides. Good stuff. Very similar to the people in this morning, the group who were on this morning. Okay, so step 4, adopt a system to make it easy. I love systems. Now, systems set you free. They're not restrictive. This is just a framework. Now, look, regardless of whether you use apps, regardless of whether you use spreadsheets, regardless of what system you use, don't delegate to a system or technology deciding, oh, I buy something for £2 and it rounds it up to 3 so I don't feel like I'm saving. That is never going to get you ahead, right? You're being passive. You're letting technology we want to make it easy, but you've got to actually adopt this principle, right? You've got to think differently. And I'm going to share with you this single system took me from being in debt in my 20s, £30,000 of non-mortgage debt. I also had £17,000 of mortgage negative equity to becoming financially independent in my late 40s, okay? And I never inherited any money. So let's look at this. This is called the smart spending system. I want you to look at this. Now, the way that this works is essentially it focuses on 3 elements. 1, it focuses on your identity. And this is in form of the 3 U's. This is all about how you spend your money. So you have the essential you, that's for all of your core living costs, mortgage repayment or rent, etc. Then you have the fun you, that's my favorite one. That's all the little luxuries, the things you don't really need to live, but they make life interesting, varied and fun, okay? And there's the future you. So that is debt repayment, not including mortgage, building savings, putting contributions to your pension, building up money for your children. Whatever it is, it's the future you, okay? Not today. And by thinking like that, you can start to think about your priorities. Now, I've given you some rough ideas of what you should think about spending of your household income. But that's just a guide. Your situation, maybe you might have just started out and you might have much higher fixed essential costs, or you might like a lot of fun, okay? As long as you're aware of it and you're doing it intentionally, that's okay. And as long as it's not at the detriment of you getting into debt. The second element of this is what we call partitioning. And what you do is you segment your money up into different accounts. Now, obviously, you can use variations of this. This is what I do, and I still do it to this day. Okay, even though I'm financially independent. In fact, this is what keeps me free. This is what tells me that I'm okay, I'm on track. So partitioning means you have separate accounts for your current account, your emergencies, the fund, and your non-monthly spending. So if we look here, your money comes into the current account. It immediately, if you haven't got 3 to 6 months essential spending, you're obviously going to be building that up. If you need to draw on the essential emergency fund, for essential costs, you draw that back. But that's 3 to 6 months of your essential you costs. And the reason you have an emergency fund is for emergencies. Then you have a spending account below that, which is for the fun. And this is for the monthly fun, okay? So let's say all the coffees and all the stuff you're going to spend each month, and you spend from whatever you put into that down to 0. So I have a Monzo app, for instance, and I keep the money separate for that. And I spend down for whatever I put in that. For me, it's a couple of £100, but for you, it might be a couple of grand. I don't know. But the point is, whatever figure you put in, and you spend down to 0. And you can see immediately as you spend where you are. Now, here's the thing. Everything goes out on payday, but there's a smoothing account you see there. Now, that smoothing account is designed for all of the essential you and the fun you spending, which is not done every month. So you're making an allowance for it, you're putting it in that pot, and then you're drawing on it for the fun, say the holiday, or for, say, the car service, depending on whether it's essential spending or fun use. So it's the lumpy money. And what you're trying to do is quarantine that money so you are not mingling it with your fund spending, your day-to-day fund spending, or your emergency fund, okay? And automation is the third element. So what that means is you're using a mixture of standing orders, direct debits, and in the case of salary finance products, salary deductions, whether that's loans, savings, help to save, whatever it is. And that's what we're in business of, is making sure it comes out of your salary before it's hit your account to make it easier. But you still make that decision. And obviously, if you use this with a real-time banking app, you can see what's in it, all of those accounts. So most banks have got the ability to create multiple accounts, even if you're separate pots. So that is the smart spending system, and that can make a massive difference to your life. Now, we've got some other learning resources on the Salary Finance website. So there's the Learn part of the website where we've got a whole series of guides, tools, calculators, and videos. So instead of binge watching something on Netflix, you can binge watch season 1 and 2 with yours truly, and where I explain everything from controlling spending to building an emergency fund to building wealth to paying off mortgages. It's all there. So it's all there available for you, all for free. If you like the idea of doing a free course, then the Open University have got a free budgeting course, right? Free. So if you like the idea of doing little courses and getting stars and diplomas and little certificates, it's all there for you. If you like that kind of thing, it's not for me, but it might work for you. So the fifth step is to celebrate small successes and making progress. Okay, you're looking for progress, not perfection. So find a non-spending way to celebrate your progress in a way that works for you. You've got to find a way to keep moving forward in the face of temptations, setbacks, lapses in self-discipline, and celebration is your secret weapon. So small steps that you then celebrate. So I know it can happen. I know you can do this. It is possible to get control of your spending. So let's just summarize that. It's embrace all your true expenses to learn the truth where the money's going, including those irregular but inevitable amounts. Give every job a pound a job to do before you get paid. Right? You tell it where to go rather than wondering where it went. Be realistic, patient, and pragmatic. It's not going to happen overnight. Small steps. Adopt a system, perhaps the smart spending system, to make it easier for you. And celebrate the small steps and the small progress that you're making. So before we do the final poll, I want to know if you've got any questions. So let's have a little look here what we've got here. We've normally got a few there. Okay, is there a way to manage the simple spending system? It's called the smart spending system, actually, Davey. Thank you for that. With credit cards. I need to build up a good credit record. The only thing you can do, using a credit card where you're using less than 50% of it can help build your credit score if you need to do that. But only put on a credit card what you already have to spend. So one of the problems is people with credit cards is because it's kind of an open facility and it can go up. You start kidding yourself that you actually know what it is. Now, I don't have a credit card personally because I found that they're not nice things to use. They can easily trick you up. So here's the thing. Keep the amount really low. If you're going to use a credit card to improve your credit score, only put £100 a month of spending on it and never use it for anything else. Absolutely nothing else. And that way you'll still get the benefit of showing you're paying every month, but you won't get yourself in a pickle if you start using it. But so only use it, keep it in a drawer at home, keep it separate. Don't fall into the trick of thinking it's extra money. I'm going to use it in emergencies. Make it so complicated to find the card that you only use it for that absolutely intentional spending of buying a book or whatever it is you've got to buy, something that you know you're not going to get a problem with. So that's what I would use, Davey. I would keep it really small. Would we be able to provide details of the links mentioned? Yes, absolutely. They'll be available after the event. Copies of the slides. Yes, I think we can arrange that. Not a problem. Am I missing part of my glasses frame for budgetary reasons? Yeah, Alex, thanks for that. You're absolutely right. I sat on these this morning, right? So I am a cheapskate. I never buy expensive glasses. I pay £10 for my glasses, but because I don't go shopping, I'm terrible. So you're absolutely right. Well done. And I'm not worried about it. I don't care what anyone thinks. So you'll find this is a feature of my thing. Any advice on investing to achieve financial freedom? How can we learn more investing methods which you may have used? Right. There's no secret to this. This is from AJ. AJ, the secret is this. Make sure that you have got rid of any non-mortgage debt. Then make sure you have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months essential use spending, okay, in a savings account. Then make sure that you are you're contributing to your employer's pension scheme at least 15% of your income. And I personally have always invested in global equity index fund. Now, for you, your risk profile, your age may dictate a different strategy, but that's always worked for me. Let's have a look at another one here. With regards to credit cards, don't get drawn into too many. We got caught out because we had a couple. Yeah, thank you for that. Credit cards aren't your friend. Have one. Keep it simple. Don't get complicated. Remember, using debt is either to get you out of a problem, okay, that you didn't foresee, but it's not the answer in the future, okay? You're going to become savers. You're going to tell your money where you want it to go. Right, is it worth or advisable to remortgage a house to pay off all credit cards? No, no, no. Absolutely not. You got into this mess, you're going to get out of it. Do not kid yourself by putting it on your mortgage, even if it's cheaper. You're going to get out of this mess. Use the snowball method, which is another. You can Google search that, or you can look at our website. We've got all the details on it. You've got to get rid of this smelly debt. You've got to clear it up, get rid of it. When it came to remortgaging, beware. Yeah, absolutely. Love the session. Right, we've finished there. I haven't got any more time for questions. Sorry about that. Could go on and on. I need to ask you one more question with my wonky glasses on before you go. I want to know what you're going to do next. Vote away. Are you going to get an accountability partner? Are you going to work out and review what you're spending your money on? Are you going to implement the smart spending system? Are you going to see if you can replace existing debt with a lower cost alternative? Right, okay, I'm going to close that off in 3, 2, 1. Look at that. 58% going to work out and review what you're spending your money on, and nearly 40% going to implement the smart spending system. I love you guys. You are even better than the people this morning. I thank you for that. So here's the thing. Learning to control your spending is a skill that you must learn to achieve and maintain your financial well-being and maximize your happiness. Financial freedom comes from being in control of your spending. It doesn't come from having loads of assets. That can be part of it. It does take time and effort, but the benefits are less stress, less worry, less anxiety, more freedom of choice, and greater financial security, and they're all worth having. So don't accept being mediocre with money. Don't accept that you can't get ahead. Don't tell yourself that you aren't the money type you are. You can do this. I know you can. You deserve to worry less and enjoy life more. I wish you every success. I see you at a future webinar. Tell your friends, tell your family. I'll see you next time.